it again. I want an inquiry. I don't know who did it, David.
No,
I'm not saying
you
there
don't
is.
believe Mohammed Siddiqui
What we
Khan did
have,
it?
what we have is
Do you
we
or
have.
not? Do you believe Mohammed Siddiqui Khan did it?
This is London, 9:47 on a midsummer morning. The terrified voices are those of mourning commuters. Some of them terribly wounded. These images captured by a passer-by moments after the explosion.
I probably saw maybe 20 people lying on the floor, not moving, and then lots of people like myself. So
I looked out my window, and there were people screaming. All the front of the building had been, or the glass had been blown in. I looked out another window, which was facing the bus, and there was a lot of smoke and some bodies, and the roof had been torn off the top of the bus, and I only looked for a couple of seconds, and then everyone started screaming, and we got out as quickly as we could.
The terrorists struck one of the city's most reassuring everyday symbols, a London bus, the number 30 from Hackney to Marble Arch. Those sitting upstairs took the full force of the devastating blast.
John, it's Lester Holt. Was it clear to you and to the people pouring out of that station that this had been an attack, or was there plenty of confusion at that point?
No, they actually figured it out pretty quickly, because we started hearing reports from different people who were getting calls from around the city saying that there was an explosion in one tube station, and then another, and everyone put the pieces together very quickly.
Through the streets of the capital, behind the shrouding screens around its underground stations, along the floodlit and empty trackways, those who pursue the terrorists are piecing together the plan they followed.
At 8:51 this morning, there was an incident at Moorgate, around Moorgate, Liverpool Street, Moorgate East underground stations. Confirmed explosion 100 yards into the tunnel from Liverpool Street station. At the King's Cross Russell Square incident, again, 21 confirmed fatalities in that particular incident. There was an explosion on a train coming into Edgware Road underground station, which blew a hole through a wall onto another train in an adjoining platform. And then at 9:47, there was an explosion on a bus at Upper Woburn Square, junction with Tavistock Place.
Remain calm. As soon as we're ready to evacuate, we'll get everybody on.
July 7th, 2005 was a day of recognition.
September the 11th, for me, was a wake-up call. Do you know what I think the problem is? That a lot of the world woke up for a short time and then turned over and went back to sleep again.
Prior to this event, the war on terror, sparked by the September 11th attacks, was an abstract threat to most of the general British public. Although Afghanistan was accepted to help the American allies, record numbers opposed the war in Iraq, and the idea of bin Laden had become more of a pub or schoolyard joke than a sophisticated terrorist we should be worried about.
Well, a few moments ago I spoke to Jihad Balloo from Al Jazeera television, who explained how they got hold of that tape in the first place.
I don't know, we just got it, you know, like, received it, yeah.
When you say you received it, how did you receive it?
Just came through the door with some, like, pizza menus and stuff like that.
Before terrorism became a reality, the British people needed to witness it with their own eyes. Many now wish they could forget the reality of the London bombings. Others make it their business never to forget. 5 years on, and Britain is still losing young men in the Middle East, while bearing the brunt of draconian terror laws and legislation at home.
Okay, can you show me what you filmed?
I don't have to.
You don't have to, no, but I believe that you're actually filming security points for terrorism reasons, and I can arrest you for filming it.
I promise you I'm not filming it for...
I don't know if you promise me or not. Don't put me on the camera. Can you show me what you're filming, please?
Do I have to show you what I'm
You
doing?
do now, sir, because I believe you may be using that for terrorist reasons. On section
Oh,
44,
you
I'm
must
asking
be
to search you under
joking.
section 44 of the Terrorism Act of what you're actually filming.
Radical Islamic groups like Islam for UK are still preaching hatred and creating tension, with regular coverage by the media. And although several official reports have been released that were supposed to explain the who, when and whys of the London bombings, these were often vague and contradictory, and victim family members are still calling for an independent public inquiry to hopefully give answers to their questions, many which were completely ignored or made even more confusing by the official narrative.
Nearly 4 years now of no answers to lots of very important questions. The government have stonewalled everything. It's been very, very difficult and continues to be very, very difficult.
In June of 2009, the BBC hoped to put some of these questions to rest in their Conspiracy Files documentary. But instead of offering an impartial investigation into the legitimate questions raised, it was viewed by some as a whitewash that omitted vital information and focused solely on the sensational aspects of internet video 7/7 ripple effect. You can't blame the BBC. After all, the two most popular documentaries on 7/7 were created by men that now claim to be the Messiah.
Taking his name from a science fiction film, Muad'Dib, John Hill believes the Ark of the Covenant is buried nearby under the hill of Tara. A document on his website reveals he believes he is the Messiah.
Rang and rang and rang, and I was sitting there feeling slightly uncomfortable. He says, that's the proclamation of you being the Messiah. You are the Messiah.
This documentary is different. I can assure you that I am not the Messiah, but please don't ask for proof. And for the record, I also have no religious alliance or political party to promote. Where 7/7 Ripple Effect, Mind the Gap and Ludicrous Diversion focused on the anomalies of the attacks themselves and the immediate fallout, 7/7 The Big Picture aims to give you a wider context in order to investigate the attacks with an informed perspective. We will start by analysing the official Home Office report and then continue the series looking at the formative years of the War on Terror, the intelligence agency's role and the bigger picture from which 7/7 developed.